Hello there everyone, this is Nathan Birch. Today we're going to be talking about week 2, introducing dynamic content into our Node projects. So there are a lot of different ways to deal with dynamic content. With Node, we generally think of in terms of what a templating engine is. Okay, a template engine allows you to use static template files in your application, and then at runtime, the template engine replaces variables in a template file with actual values and transforms the template into an HTML file sent to the client. That is what we generally think of as being dynamic. This approach makes it easier to design an HTML page. So you can still use all the HTML that you're used to using, but then you can also inject dynamic content or variables, or choose what is going to be shown to the user and what's not. If they're logged in and you want to show a log out button instead of a login or sign up button, you can. If you want to loop through content, anything like that, you can do using templating engines. There are a lot of different templating engines, okay? Some of them do things really well, some of them not so well. One of the most widely used template engines is EJS, okay? And that's what we're going to use in this class. You'll notice that the Academine course that you're using for your textbook, he uses a little bit of Pug, EJS, and Handlebars, which is great. And if you decide that you want to go Handlebars or use Mustache or Hogan, that is your prerogative. Okay, you can choose. With that said, most of the content that you're going to see in this course, the most widely supported content you'll see in this course, is for EJS. All right, and one of the reasons that we are doing that is because of how widely supported EJS is on the internet. It's really easy to find information on it. It's really well supported, and it does what we need it to do really well. So EJS, this is straight from the EJS website. It's all JavaScript, speedy execution, fast development time, don't waste time and attention figuring out arcane new syntax. There are a couple of EJS tags that you have to use inside of what is basically HTML, and then you can just write straight JavaScript into your HTML. These files are going to be EJS files, they're not going to be HTML files, but you can write pure HTML code in them. It's easy to debug EJS errors. Your errors are plain JavaScript exceptions with template line numbers included. Simple syntax and active development, very large community, really easy to Google stuff and get help. How to get started, you can go to the EJS website and look at it. With Node installed on your computer, it's as simple as saying npm install EJS and then putting a line of code into your project that says that you're going to use that EJS module. So includes, here's some of the EJS tags that I was talking about, a little bit of the EJS syntax. So this at first glance looks very much like an HTML file. I even have doc type HTML written at the top here. We have all the HTML tags. I have classes. I could put in IDs and styles if I wanted to. So this looks like an HTML file, but if you look at it, it is an EJS file. Okay. EJS is awesome because you can write HTML, have all the syntax highlighting that your HTML documents will. It's not like putting HTML into a JavaScript string that will be rendered later. Okay. It's really nice to work with. And then we have these EJS tags, which allow us to use JavaScript, allow us to perform JavaScript tasks. All right, so right here I'm saying I'm going to include a header.ejs file, which is basically HTML. It might have a nav bar or something. In the head, this will just have different, JavaScript sources or style sheets that I want to include in this page. And this will basically, at runtime, inject this header.ejs file into this index.ejs file when it gets rendered. Line 8, we're including a nav bar with buttons that I might see like at the top of a web page. Line 11, notice a little bit different syntax here. I have the less than percentage signs with an equal sign. This is basically saying, okay, print this variable name. It's a title, okay? Or the variable name is title. I could have called this anything. But when this index.ejs file was rendered, it was rendered with a variable called title. And so I could just print that title in this h1 tag, and it'll just look like an h1 header. Okay. And then we have this over here as well. Okay. So exploring the CSE341 project. This project is what you downloaded last week. We did explore it a little bit last week. That's what you guys did for your team assignments. But let me just look at it real quick with you guys here. So we have the CSE341 project. This is what it looks like. And if I click on index.js, you can use, we're requiring Express, body parser. All of these will have to do an npm install here in our terminal for it. Really easy way to open up your terminal. If you have multiple projects open, just right click on the project, hit open in terminal, and then I can say npm install, or if I needed to install Express, whoops, or EJS, I would just say npm install EJS or Express, and then I could load them into my page like this, okay? I say what port I'm going to run this on, so I could just put localhost 5000 into my browser. And then we have a bunch of stuff here, okay? I'm requiring routes. I could put all of these into my index.js file. These will basically serve as extensions of this server file, okay? So if I go into my routes and I look at TA01, I have different routes. I say, okay, if I hit the home page of the team activity 01, then we'll do this. If I look at TA02, it'll do something else, okay? And so I could put all of this code into my index file and it would work great. It would just make my index file really big. And so I have chosen to organize it. This will show up in my path in the URL, which will be nice to keep my project nice and organized and easy and be able to navigate it easily. Right here, we say what our default view engine is going to be. I'm saying I'm going to use EJS. Okay, here's some other code if you want to use a different one. We're actually using those TA01 routes. Here's the URL that'll show up after the localhost 5000. And then these are other routes that will just be available for all my pages. If I didn't find something, I'll have a 404 file. And then this just goes to my pages, and then this one will go to index. So I can come in here, click on views, pages, and there's that index file, okay? It knows to look in views because up here I said that I'm gonna set views as my directory where I'm gonna put all my views, okay? So that's a little bit on that. Hopefully you got some good time to look through this project, look at all these different files, see what they're all doing. You can see here's the team activity 02 EJS file. Looks like HTML, has some EJS stuff thrown in here. What I wanted to show you guys. So when I render an EJS file, I have to specify, the variable somewhere, right? So if I look at my TA02 routes, I say res.render pages, team activity 02, I say any variables that I want to pass in. So I don't think I was using any of these three variables, but I could use them if I wanted to. If I rename this title 5, then this EJS file would throw a big error, and I would see that right in my browser because this would have to be title 5, okay? But that's where we declare those is when we do the res.render on a specific route. We'll say, hey, if we hit the home page of the team activity 02 URL, then we'll load up the pages TA02.ejs. I don't have to say EJS because I already declared that that's what I was going to be using, and then whatever data that I want to put in there. Okay. All right. Let's look at one other example. So I'm going to show you guys a different project now. So this is the template that you guys downloaded, but I want to show you guys one other thing. So this is something that I like to teach on campus. This is the week 02 class activity that I do with them. But here, this is just the route. Okay, I have an index file for my entire project that runs. Okay, and in there I say that I'm going to be using, I'm using my views folder and I'm using EJS just like you saw before. And somewhere in here I have a bunch of routes. We're not going to look too much at this right now. Okay, but in here for the class activity, you can see I could make an array of objects. Okay, we have games here, and then we have router.get. This will just be the home page of this directory. Okay, and then I say I'll render pages, class activities, week 02 home, and I'm only passing one bit of data, and I'm passing that games array that we declared right here. Okay, so if I come over here and I look, I'm going to go into Views, Pages, Class Activities, Week 02, and we said we were going to load Home. So I'll click on Home, and look at this. We have our first for loop here in our EJS file. I equals 0, I is less than games.length, and then we'll go ahead and output our creator and our title that were from there. Okay, so this is just a good example on how versatile EJS files can be and how helpful they can be in generating this dynamic content. The last thing that I wanted to share, I know this video is going a little bit long, is this package JSON, okay, where it shows the script that will run. If I say npm start in here, then it'll go ahead and run nodemon index.js. Be the exact same thing. And then it'll say listing on port 5000 because in my index.js file I say to console log that I'm listening on that port. Here are all my dependencies. These are all the different things that I've done. npm install EJS, npm install Express, npm install MongoDB. And you're going to do a lot of these throughout the semester as well. But this is where all of those are. So if I was going to download this project on any computer and I didn't have any of these installed, I would just say npm install, it would go to the package JSON, and it would install all of these. So I hope that this is helpful for you guys. If you have any questions, just let your instructor know. But I hope you guys have an awesome week.